All right, guys, welcome to the new episode of Coach's Corner. Today, we're gonna talk about how to lie or destroy your disaster, as we discussed about. And I'm Łukasz Nowatkowski. I will be your host with my friend Patric. Patric is trying to explain which one guests came today to us.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Łukasz. Today's topics is something we all have experienced once in a while.
Mostly me.
Yeah, mostly Łukasz. And that's the hole that destroys the whole score. And today we have Tom Burnett with us. And Tom is going to walk us through how to make it not happen.
Yeah. How you are playing great. Your scorecard is clean, of course, and sometimes on the scorecard you see 7 or 9.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What's happened, Tom?
Well, you know,
And first introductions yourself, maybe.
hi, I'm
because-
Tom Burnett.
Yeah. Everybody
Tom-
wants to know.
I'm Tom Burnett. I've done developmental teaching for the last 25 to 30 years. And what that means is we take care of every aspect from mental, technical, physical, taking to golf courses or taking to golf tournaments, traveling to Q schools, traveling or preparing for college. I am in the heart of this disaster hole.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy it's a topic that we have today because usually avid golfers, when they're working on their game, they're playing quite a bit. You know, the average golfer, if he's playing once a week, that's quite a bit. If it's a tournament golfer, there's 2 to 3 tournament rounds every 2 weeks. If it's a college player, it's qualifying. It's at the tournaments, it's playing 36 holes in a day. If it's the PGA Tour player, it's 4 or 5 weeks in a row playing 5 days a week.
Okay.
And we all have the disaster holes. The more we play, the more we experience things that are uncharacteristic. And then our brain has a tendency to kind of leave us when we hit that disaster zone.
But sometimes we are lying even by ourselves and talking that this is not my fault, right? It is only 2 holes.
That's more or less a protective thing to make you feel better. And we come up with excuses in ourselves. But usually development golf, and what I've seen over the years is as you're getting better, let's say you're going from 90s to 80s, you might have 4 to 5 bad holes. Then as you start getting into 80s into high 80s into low 80s, you might have 3, 4 bad holes. And then you have 2 bad holes. And then you have 1 bad hole. And then it turns into a half a hole. And then it's that one shot that you have that perfect round going that completely throws it off. But your level, as you get better, you still have the same anxiety, the same experience.
So you would say that would be more of a mental side of it compared to swing issues or something like that?
Well, let's take the two together. Your technical faults are going to be exaggerated when the brain, what I call, shifts out of place. We can shift into performance and we can shift out of performance. So the real question is, what makes you shift out of performance?
Could it be like to see a OB on the right, you know you have a big slice and you're aiming incorrectly, or you're playing too safe, so you choose the wrong club from the tee to avoiding the obstacles or the
So
the
how
danger.
how do we answer all those questions simply? Okay, and every scenario you just said happens to every player.
That's right.
Okay, so what's really happening? I hit the bad shot. What are you going to say to yourself? What's your self-talk saying? Oh no, here we go again.
Yeah.
I've been here before. And now where is your brain focused on?
Yeah,
The past.
Or even worse,
the
you're
past-
staying on the same tee, the same golf course, and saying last time
The
was
past.
out.
Yeah, and
the
I
bounce.
also would say the thought not. Don't hit it to the right. Don't
Yes.
hit it.
Well, now we're thinking about future.
Yeah.
And this is how sneaky it is. This is the one thing that players really don't pick up on is it's 99% of the time it's past, future, or are you in the present?
Yeah.
So if I'm have that thought that comes up in my head, that's going to start me thinking.
Yeah.
Where is performance at? What is the present? The present is I can see the shot, I can feel the shot. And then your pre-shot routine is supposed to bring you there. And when it brings you there, then your chances of you thinking about, oh no, here I go again, they're not there. You're in the moment. That's what we call Zen, being present.
For all the amateurs out there, how important would the pre-shot routine be? Would you say?
Well, the pre-shot routine can turn into a ritual, which means you can still shift yourself out in and out of performance.
Yeah.
But there's a mental acuity that you bring up what focus feels like. So you heard the old story where Tiger's dad is dropping the clubs and dropping his keys.
Yeah.
Well, what that does is that shifts his head into the present. Now there's a distraction, but that makes you focus harder on that ball to that target if your pre-shot routine has trained you. We call these shifts.
Yeah.
So sometimes you ever notice that you hit the hard shot better and you hit the easy shot worse?
Yeah.
And then what happens is you put in your mind, this is an easy shot, therefore I should future hit it good. And then you, without realizing it, you sabotage yourself.
Yeah, sometimes this is the most important, and you're trying to hit them maybe 60
Yes.
meters. And you said, okay, this sandwich,
Yeah.
it should be always be good, right?
Yes.
And then
It should
Duffy
al-
and Duffy a
Yeah.
lot.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about the greatest score you have going, and you're coming down to the last hole, and all of a sudden you go, all I have to do is get it in.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Now you're taking a desperate kind of look at the future. Just get it in.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure.
And these are the things that professional athletes are trained to be in. It doesn't matter how much chaos or noise is going on the outside. They have the ability, as Tiger would say, I'm in my bubble.
Yeah, but how to stay in focus? Because it's almost sometimes 5 hours on the course.
Well, and how long is an actual round of golf, physically wise? I think somebody says less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If you actually look at the execution of a shot, so you train yourself, and your pre-shot routine is to make your focus come in like an avalanche.
Yeah.
It slowly starts off. As you're starting to do your practice waggles, you're getting the feel for the shot. You're rehearsing it. You see that ball flight in the air. You feel the how your hands are going to handle the torque and the slow feeling down at the bottom, but makes the ball go fast. You feel the grass, club head clipping the grass. You feel your feet rolling your weight through. The sound of the grass, the sound of the ball.
Yeah.
All these are present time situations that you want to keep training yourself to be in. And the more you do it when it counts, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
And this is why tour players can go so low.
Yeah, but you have to imagine, right?
Imagination is 90% of golf. Yeah.
But can you practice somehow to prepare for these kind of situations?
Absolutely. And I tell you what makes the best players is their ability to create. And this is where imagination is a different type of imagination. You hear the stories of guys that have won big tournaments. I've imagined this since I was a kid, standing on the 18th hole, making the 3-foot putt to win the Masters and holding the trophy over their head.
Yeah.
They're engaging and training themselves to what they want in the future, and they have practiced that putt over and over since they were a child.
Yeah.
So a great story. Bubba Dickerson won the U.S. Amateur, and Bubba was talking about the Future Masters as a kid. And he goes, "No, Tom, I lost that tournament on the last hole." After I lost that tournament, I said, I vowed to myself, I am going to win this tournament next year. And what he said, he goes, I practiced every shot I hit for an entire year on that golf course, at home in my head, at night, and this, and that's all he did for a year. And he won the tournament by 17 strokes the next year.
Oh, wow.
So that's the power that we can use with our imagination. And with that, there was drive, motivation. And then with that, he took his talent, his skill level, and he very specifically went at a target. By doing that, it made him a much better player overall in every situation.
But let's say you're standing on the tee and you see all these scary things showing up on the course.
So you want the quick trick?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the perfect thing: is you have that shot that just does not look right. Especially the one where the wind is blowing in your slice direction.
Yeah.
That's the worst one. So you're sitting up on the tee and there's that water over on the right, and then you have that left to right wind just howling. The best thing to do is not even look down the hole. You pick a spot 2 feet out in front of you. You only focus on the 2 feet in front of you, and you use your feel to make sure that the ball stays down the left side. And it's a trick that has worked, I'd say 95% of the time with all the tournament players that I've used.
Oh, cool.
Almost the same like on the driving range. Because you have to imagine even few holes, right? Not only hitting the balls. Because on the driving range, everybody are the master of masters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's funny because there's that old thing with the driving range is that you swing much faster on the golf course than you do the driving range. So you get into a, what we call, you might be meditating in your practice, where you're just kind of hitting ball after ball after ball. And then you hear new terms now: purposeful practice, practice with a purpose, meaning in it. And what that means is, instead of rapid firing golf balls, is you create the drive that's down the fairway with the wind blowing left to right. And I'm sure holes like 18 at TPC, people have to practice that drive with the dog leg, the draw with the water on the left.
That's the scary one.
Tiger used to use that tournament to rehearse and practice his 3-wood draw for the dog leg left par 5 at the Masters. So Butch Harmon and Tiger were talking one time. You play into playing well, and then you practice for the majors. So those golfers that want to play well in the majors may use the tournaments beforehand to practice the shots during the tournament under pressure to prepare for the shots.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to even put your pressure by yourself.
And that's what makes the best.
Or in somehow I think, okay, if you think about you are hungry even, and get some waffle in your hand and trying to eat, this is something destroy you a lot as well, because you're thinking about food, not a game. You are going in different direction.
Tournament players can play when they're tired, irritated, hungry, sick. You only need 30 to 40 seconds to shift in that place. And you come back to that great thing about on the range, if you're able to put tournament pressure or scoring pressure or the hard shots on the range and feel, and we all know what it feels like. It's a little faster pace, the heartbeat's beating a little faster, the grip's a little tighter, the brain's moving a little faster, or the brain shuts down. There's two different types of players that move fast and players that slow down and shut down. As a coach, I've got to determine that in the player. But you are exactly right. Your range work, the closer it mirrors the golf course, the better you're going to be.
If you look into the focus side of it, if you look at the amateur golfer playing on his home course all the time, they know exactly what kind of club they should use on the second shot and so on. So instantly after the tee shot, they could pick up the next club.
Yeah.
And maybe walk in 200 yards ahead, into the fairway, preparing with like 5 minutes or 3 minutes or so for the shot that's coming up. How much does that destroy, instead of just, let go, walk until you come to the ball, and you do your pre-shot routines and everything, and then you choose the club and hit the shot.
Well,
instead of just using the same club all over again.
Well, you know, when you're aware as a player, and tell me if I answer this question right. When you're aware as a player, Jack Nicklaus is famous for just standing over the ball forever on his putts, and then he would make it.
Yeah.
You ask the average person to do that, they're going to screw it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Chichi Rodriguez, he started his backswing before his left foot was back in the setup. He moved so fast that he didn't give his time. But they knew in their head where they perform well at. The amateur falls into it sometimes. It happens by chance.
Okay.
And you remember when remember the shot that you hit that it just destroyed your round and you quit in your mind. You just said, "I'm done," and then all of a sudden you start playing really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
and people think quit. We use terminologies or words that saying about you can't quit. You got to drive and fight. Really, what it is that you've let your brain relax. You've taken the pain away from you, and when your brain calms down and relax, and when you're happy, your feel and your visualization and your ability to stay in the present is at its best. So these players know how to move themselves there. They train themselves to get there.
If you go back again to the pre-shot routine and the practice swings before a shot, you see players not doing practice swing. You see players do maybe 10 practice swings, and I would say the closer to a beginner level player you have, the more practice swings they do.
Well, let's when you're under stress, usually the practice swing is trying to get yourself to relax and get yourself into a place of focus. Because the one thing that gets in the way is that and we'll say it's called choking.
Yeah.
You choke your shot. You know, you're trying really hard not to miss hit the shot. You're going to take a lot of practice swings. You're going to pump yourself up. You're going to talk yourself into it. Choking is not negative. It means you care too much. When you care too much, you're thinking and trying too hard. Seeing and feeling and relaxing and being happy is being in the present. So when you're playing your best, you're almost childlike. When you're the weekend warrior and you cognitively know how to grind and get some work done from a cognitive standpoint, you're stuck in cognitive. You train yourself to be cognitively efficient. In sports, you got to be a child.
Yeah.
You got to hit the ball, look at it fly, chase it, and go. And we call that a shift. Professional athletes are fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say most of the amateurs doesn't understand why they actually hit the practice swing. They don't understand the purpose behind it, or they do the practice swing is like a half swing compared to the full swing when they execute.
And I'm going to teach as a teacher. I'm always going to teach, and I try to say keep it to one practice swing.
Yeah.
If you're in a critical situation, you got to shape a shot, punch a shot under a tree, half ball in the water. Then you do many rehearsals, and then you step up and execute the rehearsal. But in general, if you're trying to, how do I say this? If you're trying to execute a shot that you're never practiced or you're prepared for, you're going to choke it because now you're worried about your score. You're in a position, and that's why I kind of keep saying is every little scenario is a trap, and it's only your experience that gets you out of the trap. So a practice swing, some players don't take the practice swing because it's too much time to think. Some players take 3 or 4 times because they got to wake their brain up to get back to focus. So that would be the difference between fast brain, slow brain. I'm going to teach the generic to do the one practice swing, execute, get behind it. If they're fast, slow it down, see it, feel it in your brain. If they're slow, keep visualizing it, looking at it with the visual there. Stand up when you're over the ball. You're concentrating on either a sound, a visual, a rhythm. This is why you see players with ear pods. It creates rhythm in their head. It keeps them, and rhythm is a feel.
Yeah, I want to ask about this because a lot of players training with iPods
and what it does, it distracts the brain from thinking. If you put it, you ever notice you're playing some of your best golf when you have a tune in your head? Yeah, you're walking with a beat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that internal rhythm is feel that keeps you in the present. Yeah, you're singing along. When
Yeah.
you sing to yourself, you're in the present.
Yeah.
But
For me, it has been, my mind has been somewhere else, not on the golf course between the shots.
Yeah, and you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
well, it goes back to finishing that story.
Yeah.
Is you're only playing for 2 minutes. Your level of focus only needs to be for 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you try to focus for the entire round, you're going to walk off mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
So a sports psychologist kind of explained it to me really nice one time. Martha Kobo said, imagine you have a gallon of water, and every time you pour it, that's your focus. So now you have to make that gallon of water last for 18 holes.
Yeah. That was good.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah.
good sports psychologist.
Yeah.
She's very good.
But even if the practice swing, I've go back a little about the practices. Last time I heard that if you are practice swinging, you should think about how you finish the swing, not about the backswing.
Well, let's a pre-shot routine is to insulate you against all the things that could go wrong. Technically, mentally, if you're tired, your decision-making process, it's a cycle. So the rehearsal of the swing is just a reminder of what you're going to do. It keeps you in the present. If you're saying that to yourself while you're going through the pre-shot routine, if you're feeling it in the pre-shot routine, but if it's a ritual, it doesn't matter. But imagine the cycle is you're doing your details, you're analyzing, then you switch to target, lie, feel, and now you come to the bottom portion here in this cycle is that you're going to execute the shot. Now you execute the shot. Crap, I hit a bad
No,
shot.
of course, I always do.
Okay, and now here's what happens. Head pops, emotions, moving back and forth your head. Brain is speeding up.
Sometimes I even try to get the flying in my clubs.
Yes.
No.
Helicopter.
Of course.
Okay, so
We've seen that.
Tomorrow maybe.
So now your brain has shifted to an arousal spot. We call it popping. The brain, it popped. When a brain pops bad, it's going to be there for 30 minutes. So the job of the routine is to keep you from popping.
Yeah.
Because we miss the post-shot routine. What is the post-shot routine? The post-shot routine says, was that mental or was that technical? Okay,
Yeah.
or was it a decision? Did I use the wrong club?
Yeah.
So usually if you choose the wrong club, read the conditions wrong, and then you screw up your commitment, that's a double or triple bogey.
Yeah.
If you execute the shot with the wrong club, your chances are you're going to save your score. If you don't execute the shot with the right club, chances are you're going to mishit it and still be able to score. It's when you get mad, you don't accept the shot that you just hit, you don't evaluate it very quickly, and if you don't evaluate it and accept it, then you stay angry into the next shot, then you skip the win, the lie, and then your brain never comes back to the present because you're stuck at how bad you are from the previous shot.
But I think there is some, not a situation, but some to-do list to getting back the mind on the right position.
You train for positive cycles. Again, a pre-shot routine is you do the details, you figure out what the shot is, you analyze it, then you start to run through your pre-shot routine. You commit to the shot through see and feel, and if you don't accept, then you're in a bad cycle of not accepting every shot. And this is the bounce back or the strokes gained. As soon as you can get back into accepting the shot, and then you do a post-shot routine of a rehearsal of what you should fix, now your brain is back on trying to get into a positive playing cycle.
So if, let's say you just did a triple bogey, most of the times you continue doing a double because you're chasing a better score.
We're going back to the brain popping.
Okay, that's the.
So when your brain speeds up, then it gets irrational.
Yeah.
It doesn't come back to its game plan. And it's kind of like you said, and this is, I'm glad you said it. Your brain tries to catch up the score.
Yeah.
Are you past, present, or future? Future.
Yeah.
So then that's why I say past, present, or future. We have explained 9 or 10 situations where it's always one of those two.
Yeah. I learned in my young age a pretty cool trick, teeing off on the first hole. The task was I need one birdie on 18 holes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I did the first birdie on hole number 3. Then I have 15 holes more to make one birdie more.
Mm-hmm.
And then keep going for one birdie at a time. And then when you did the second birdie on 9th, then you have 9 more holes to do another birdie.
Okay.
And you kept concentrating on doing birdies. And what happens was that you wasn't afraid of screwing up, because the only focus was creating a birdie. And if it happens on the first hole or 9th hole or 12th hole, it doesn't matter, because the goal was to make one birdie.
Okay.
When you did that, you had
Okay,
to do
so,
another one.
so now what we're doing is we're talking about realistic expectations.
Yeah,
Now, if I said to you, you have to go out and make 6 birdies,
that's.
do you feel that
crazy.
stress?
Yeah, exactly.
But if I tell you to go 1 birdie,
Yeah.
now you set your game plan for the day.
Yeah.
Now that helps you stay in the present, because my goal is just to make 1 birdie within 18 holes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if I did a bogey or a double, because the goal is still 1 birdie.
And that's called acceptance, and that's in part of your routine, which keeps you in the present.
Because it actually works pretty good.
And players have you can manipulate and cheat your brain as much as you want. That's positive. It's positive manipulation.
Yeah.
So some players will use, I'll play 3 holes, and then that helps me stay present and try to do my best in 3 holes.
Yeah.
But notice what your task was. To make a birdie is I need to stay in the present and hit solid shots. I need to hit good putts. I need to give myself an opportunity.
Yeah.
That's a game plan.
Yeah.
As soon as I don't give myself the opportunity, then I don't accept. Now I'm in that spiral you were talking about.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to push the score for 3 or 4 holes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, I'm taking the moment for commercials. I want to take a moment to talk about the tools that make this podcast and the data analysis you hear every week possible. We spend so much time on this show breaking down how to use your data to get the burr, but all of that starts with having the right data in the first place. That's where our 2 powerful applications from WatchitGolf, PXE and PXC, come in. For the serious players listening, PXE, the player experience, is your all-in-one performance companion. It's more than just a scorecard you are using inside your pocket. It works as a launch monitor, instantly capturing your shots and giving you all the necessary numbers like ball speed and spin rates. But it's so much more than that. PXE is the fastest, most effective way to connect with your coach. You can film your swing right inside the app, get instant feedback, and even chat with your coach about a specific shot you just hit, all in real time over the internet. It's how to get the professional analysis and advice from anywhere in the world right when you need it. And for the professional coaches out there, their PXC, the player experience coach. We know you are passionate about golf, but you need to grow your business and make a living from your experience. PXC is the platform that helps you to do that. It allows you to manage students from all over the world, analyze their data and video remotely, and show them exactly what they need to work on. You can share drills, provide feedback, and communicate seamlessly with all your players, turning your knowledge into a scalable business. You can make more money by helping more players and while providing a higher level of service. Wherever you are a player looking for a competitive edge or a coach ready to modernize your business, the WatchitGolf app are the future of golf instruction. And for now, they are exclusively available for iOS users. Of course, Android coming soon. So if you're an iPhone or iPad user, head over the App Store and download WatchitGolf PXE and WatchitGolf PXE to start your data-driven journey to bear golf and bear coaching businesses. On the screen, you see the link where you can register as a coach in WatchitGolf Academy, and QR code provides you the link to our application you can download and get your golf performance possibility bear. Take care and have a nice day. See ya.
So that's why I say no matter how we look at this in every scenario, it's a sneaky little devil. That past or present comes up and it shifts you out. And every round I've ever evaluated, a player will say, yeah, but when I hit that shot, now I knew the cut. Pat. No. I said, it's so hard. It's the easiest thing to say to somebody, stay in the present. It's the hardest thing to evaluate as a player.
Yeah, this is the same like you're trying to count the score each hole.
Yeah.
This is for me this is totally crappy.
Yeah.
Because if I'm start counting, it's over me.
Yeah.
But Tom, you mentioned earlier strokes gained.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say, how can an amateur player use the strokes gain system?
When you figure it out, tell me.
Okay.
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 Because here's the positive side about evaluating your game. Here's the negative side about evaluating your game. We have so many apps and so many ways to manage your game. And the positive thing about this is it creates awareness. It allows you to evaluate. Yeah. But the only thing that I've ever found that works the best is I sit down with the player and I go through every single shot and I look for patterns. Okay. Is it a pattern of belief, thought? Does the technique break down? Yeah. So perfect example is we're in Q school with a young lady named Marina Stutz. And Marina would spin a little bit off of her back foot a little bit. Now, if I speed her up and put her under pressure, that turns into a left or a right miss. Now, this girl is big, strong, really fast club head speed. She's a very dominant player. So she's 17 years old. She makes it through first stage. She's top 5, top 3 in second stage going to the last round. And on her last 9 holes, she shoots 47. Brain pops. Yeah. Tied in with the foot spinning, the technical fault. Yeah. Then trying to push score and save score. Now the brain stayed in a panic state for 9 holes. Yeah. So she's sad, she's depressed, and all of a sudden I'm sitting there and it goes off and the last score's in. I go, Marina, you made it. What? Okay. So then we have this 4 to 5 hour drive back to evaluate what happened at 9 holes. I said, I've been telling you we need to finish this off. Yeah. Because during this time, she learned how to play in the wind. She changed her driver to get her spin right, to get the ball to go 30 yards further. She learned how to play all the rough. She calculated that 80% of her iron shots are 9 under and under because she hit it so far. Yeah. She trained like crazy for all those things, but she never thought the technique and the pop would have such a dramatic effect. And then when that happened, now she's worried about losing Q school. Yeah. All this hard work goes to now every negative thought comes through your head. So it doesn't matter what the level of player is. We all experience it. Yeah. So on the way home, I said, when you go back to Austria, you have to roll that ankle and we need to match up impact. She did the work when she came back, and she came back and ended up finishing like 5th in Q school in the total end. She was 17 years old and got fully exempt. That's cool. Yes. Yeah, really. So all these things I'm saying are things I read about, I learn about, but I experience them. Mm-hmm. And if I evaluate a player hole by hole, yeah, I see the patterns that come out. If I chunk the chip, that foot spin leaves my weight a little bit too far back. That causes me to wipe the ball, overspin it, and hit it to the right. When I speed that up, then it turns into a shot off the golf course. Yeah. You recognize your patterns when you're under stress, then you train against them. A great coach looks for how a player falters under pressure, and then he trains that part. Yeah. And as soon as you train that part, that player has confidence. Yeah. and that player will always stay in the present when they play.
Yeah, but there's the how to say the score gain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then nobody in my mind, and from my friends, even talking about this. Never. They're
It's,
only counting in the normal way, right? Strokes.
yeah. Well, you can get locked in on score, and that's a big fault. So here's a way to handle score. So when I have a player that's unrealistic about their scoring,
Yeah.
I say, okay, pull up all your last scores. 96, 91, 90, 88. Okay. I say, let's divide those all, whatever. And let's say the score is a 90. Your personal par is 90. Okay. Now, if I tell you you're going to go out in a tournament today, and if you shoot 90, you're doing great. The score stinks. It's up.
Yeah.
No, but you are a 90 shooter.
Yeah.
Now they accept it. And now when they take a triple bogey, they're not freaking out, and they can get themselves back on track because it's like you with the one birdie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their game plan is my score is 90. That's my personal par. I can't, there's no reason for me to get upset if I'm out of that range. So now you can say, now if you do this and this and this, so you had 3 chunk chips, you had 4 3-putts from outside of 30 feet. That night afterwards, after we evaluate round, we go do lag putts and we go do chips, and your job is to break 90. All of a sudden, you had 1 3-putt and only 1 chunk chip, and you shoot 86.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know how to evaluate. We have evaluation processes, but the only way to really figure that out is, did that player do his routine? When they panic, what is the fault, and how does the fault hit the miss? And then you're trying to counteract the miss, is what you're trying to do. So score is a way to measure, but you make the score relative. And a lot of us that use score, we know where we're at during a round.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you have a player that doesn't know where they're at, and they're looking for the 19th hole, and they're kind of in the zone. They're not even thinking about score. They're going with the feels and the visuals.
Yeah.
So the brain is powerful. You can positively manipulate it. And
I would say the worse it goes, the easier to remember the scores.
Oh, I've
Compared
always
to-
remember.
If you're playing well, you hardly remember 2 holes back.
and that's you as the player.
Yeah, yeah.
If you know, and look, mental conditioning 101 is I know. The more you know yourself, the better you can take your own personal stats, mentally measure. And my sports psychologist used to call it a mental scorecard. How many times did you commit? How many times were you in the present?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you evaluate it differently outside of score. But usually, until a player hits that 1 or 2 bad holes, and it hurts so bad that they actually ask themselves the question, what am I really doing? And or go help and or research their own help, they'll just kind of stay there.
And the worst is that they are trying to fix something during the round.
Yes. Well, and I'm glad you said that. That's a very sophisticated thing to be able to do. If you ever look at a tour player when they're struggling, they'll walk off to the side, they'll rehearse their drills, they'll rehearse their whole sequence of how they practice and play. And they may stop and they'll close their eyes and they'll learn how to calm their brain down and bring themselves back to the present. So they know that it will happen, but they're prepared when it happens. Sometimes they're excited when it happens because now they can prove to themselves they can get through it. They turn something negative into, yes, I can do it.
Yeah.
They turn it completely positive. And I tell you what, when you're around a tour player or a good player that's really positive and ooey gooey, I mean, it's almost like, you know, it's they're so positive. It's just like, wow, that's just like crazy positive.
Yeah.
But usually when you're in that kind of state, those players are really good players.
No, because when you're playing bad, you also put more and more pressure on yourself all the time, and that's not making it easier.
Well, let's talk about putting pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
What is behind the pressure? Why are you putting pressure on yourself?
Problem with myself.
But why?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, it is, because I don't think you always know that. It could be about shame, coming in with a scorecard that looks absolutely.
And I had one sports psychologist says that is the biggest fear for most athletes is they don't want to embarrass themselves in front of their peers.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah.
So does that mean you're playing for yourself? And if you think about it, you don't want to embarrass yourself, past, present, or future. It's the future.
Yeah, exactly.
So as soon as you hit that shot, oh no, here we go again.
Yeah.
Here's the worst one. How am I going to explain this to everybody?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And when it comes up on the TV screen in the clubhouse, oh wow,
Yeah.
86. Ooh.
Yeah, and then the guy that shoots 78, who you always used to be, comes by and goes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And of course, he is always asking,
Yeah. Oh, he's
how's
the
it
first.
going?
He's the
Yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
He's going.
But you only ask,
How's your
ask
run?
when you have a better, you have a better score.
Yeah.
That's the only time you ask it.
yeah, and that's right, yeah. And of course, everybody know because they saw it before.
Yeah.
And ask mostly people who getting the good score, right? Good score and finish the round really well.
Well, and these are players that they're measuring themselves against their peers.
Yeah.
As soon as you come to, it comes back to my personal par.
Yeah.
I'm not going to measure myself against my peers. I'm going to measure myself against myself. And then once you become that, then that's that mental conditioning thing. I know myself. I know that I might want to go from there. It might be nice information to see how you are with the field. That kind of sets it. But as you get better as a player, as soon as you get past the first or the second hole, you sense at how easy or hard the course is going to be that day, and you can kind of imagine what the low score is.
Yeah.
Now, a really good player that's playing easy today, all of a sudden they may shift their game plan in the middle of the round, but they're experienced enough to actually do it.
Yeah, but it is maybe sometimes it looks like it's really, really simple, right?
And that's, yes.
But it is not.
And that's why I say stay in the present. Sounds simple. Man, is it hard.
Yeah.
It is so hard.
Because simple is always if you are going before, right?
Yeah.
Or without any warm-up, standing on the first tee, hit, and that's it.
Yes.
Say, okay, first shot was great, then go forward.
Yes.
And after 7 or 8 at the end of the hole.
Well, we're not conditioned to play consistently for 18 holes. You've got to play 18 holes quite a bit to know what 4-hour round feels like, a 6-hour round feels like, and to be able to turn on and off your focus, to do it in bad weather, to do it when your playing partner's talking too much, or your playing partner doesn't talk to you at all, or your girlfriend said something nasty to you on before you tee off, or anything that comes in, you've got to get into your own world at that point.
But I really like what you said about expectations, because I think every single one of us can learn from that, because I think most of the time we have the wrong expectations on ourselves.
Yeah, we're taught this in life.
Yeah.
You go to school, it's a grade. You get a grade, you get a bad grade, boom. And then there's a kid that's making the A and you're making the bad grade, and all of a sudden you're shamed in school, you're shamed here because you're not keeping up with everybody else. But then all of a sudden you take that kid that may not do there, you put him in a different situation of homeschooling, and now he has nothing to compare to, nobody's judging him, and they flourish. Yeah. And vice versa, you put somebody in a social atmosphere and they flourish. Yeah. It's knowing yourself. Yeah. That doesn't make who you are right or wrong. It's how fast your awareness level is of you. So like when you're dealing with youth, 10 years old is usually awareness. Girls become much more aware at an earlier age. Mm-hmm. A girl at age 10, 11 can actually play LPGA. A boy at 15, 16 can actually play LPGA or PGA Tour, but they cannot handle the expectations that the world is going to put on them around them yet.
Yeah, but sometimes, as you said, we push on us our expectations, right? And maybe it will be better to count our shots or strikes and get the real results.
But what is the purpose of you getting your real results? Is for your own purpose to evaluate.
Of course.
But if we're using it for judgment, past, present, or future, we're worried about.
Yeah, this is the hard to even answer about this. How you're feeling and how your brain is working about why you push the pressure.
Yeah, and also I think I would like to go back also to, if you look at when you're out playing with your friends, most of the time a 3-footer you are giving that putt, and then suddenly you're playing in a competition and you need to hold it.
Yes.
That might be 10 strokes difference.
Yes.
On 18 holes.
Yes. Look, you are you prepared? Do you know yourself? Yeah. Perfect example I was working with Anders, your
Yeah.
previous guest. I said, okay, Anders, he was struggling with his game a little bit. I said, let's go work on something else. He says, let's do putting. And I said, here's a Dave Pell's drill: 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 feet, make 10 in a row, and then do it with your eyes closed. He goes, I got a better one. He walks back to 20 feet, hits the first one short left, and he goes, I got it. And he proceeds to make 10 in a row from 20 feet.
Oh, wow.
So my head is just now going, here I am trying to put an expectation on the guy, and he blows me away with his own expectation.
Yeah.
But he knows himself so well, and he goes, Tom, it's so hard out there. You have to be so good. So when you're playing with the best, it always raises your level.
Yeah.
When you're playing around the guys that are constantly stuck in their traps, you're going to be playing at their level.
Yeah.
So if you put in your mind, and I'm going to improve my game, so I'm going to go play with some other players that have other skills that I don't, and you pick up on those skills pretty quickly, and you see them execute it, and all of a sudden you copy somebody and it works. You go, ooh.
Yeah, but it is really hard to sometimes understand even these expectations.
And that's
was
where,
it,
and if you can't handle, now I know you, because you're smart and you know that you can accomplish a lot of things. So what happens is when you have a high achiever, somebody who always puts a lot of pressure on themselves, and they have external pressure, it's not a good thing. So you're the guy that sits back and you close your eyes and you
sometimes I need
meditate.
to do this,
You go to a quiet place. You keep everybody out and away from you. You
Yeah.
talk monotone. When you have that type of player, that's how I would train you from there. If I have a slow brain, you can nudge this person. You can challenge them. You can say, you ain't that good. And they come back at you. I'm going to show you.
Yeah, exactly.
So once you figure the player out, then you can teach them about themselves. And then all of a sudden, now they're aware about awareness. And when that
Yeah.
kicks in, then their self-learning, their self-discovery kicks in. And as a coach, I'm always pushing for self-discovery with the player.
Yeah, but for me sometimes the most pressure is when I'm playing in some team,
Mm-hmm.
like a pro-am sometimes with team or good friends.
Yeah.
And this is for me
Your peers.
Yeah.
And you're worried about
And-
embarrassing yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're in
that's
the
right,
future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the
There's
future.
the trap.
Yeah.
We already laid out what people do, and you walked right into your own trap.
Especially at the end stage of the whole party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
This is a 2 meter or maybe 2 inch or 10-inch putt.
Here's the hard thing about putting is that it's the most obvious.
Yeah.
It's the one that all 4 or all 3 in your group are sitting around you at a 3-footer, and they're all within 10 feet of you, and they're all sitting there going, "Is he going to make it or miss it?"
Yeah.
And
Or
sometimes
sometimes you have to.
you
You
have
are
to.
only the one.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Have to is future. Have to, could have, should have. Whenever these words pop in your head, again, it's a funny game.
Yeah.
When your brain allows itself to be influenced by the outside, you're done. You have to get into your brain and direct it on what you're doing.
Yeah. Simple to say.
It is simple to say. But now as a coach, I create these scenarios if I'm caddying for you in a tournament or a golf course, and then I'm training you on the golf course to stay in the present. And then if and caddies play these days, they're actually sports psychologists now, is they pull the player in, because here's what's going to happen with the player. They're going to be excited. The caddy helps calm them down by bringing them into the present.
Yeah.
The player's tired, can't really focus, but they train their swing to repeat. So now the caddy becomes the video game operator. He just points the gun and shoots. So when you're talking about the long haul of these guys on tour, they play in every scenario, every situation, every weather condition, every grass condition, and they know how to adapt.
Yeah.
When we're learning how to play, we get stuck in the learning. And then when we can't get out of our learning trap, then it puts pressure on us. And that's where coaching helps.
But the most tough thing on the golf course is if you hit bad, after you think, what I'm wrong bad, right? And with my shot, maybe the lie was bad, maybe some heel was a little high, or
Maybe
my feet was
maybe
lower.
maybe
Yeah, and always maybe,
No.
right?
Okay, I felt myself not shift. I felt my foot slip. I didn't get to my finish.
Yeah.
Then you do a rehearsal swing after, make the correction, and then accept what happened. If you don't accept what happened, you stay angry.
But yeah, but
or frustrated.
there is some method to predict it, or with the
Training your pre-shot routine.
yeah,
and-
pre-shot routine. That's
and
right.
then you train your technique. See, if our swing moves a little faster, the number one fault for any player, especially tour players, is you get fast from the top. If you get fast from the top, you throw your whole sequence out. And some of us would drive our legs, some of us would spin our feet, some of us would fall back, some of us would stay on one side. All the faults are different because our genetic makeups are different, our injuries are different, our way our bodies are set up are different. So you as a player and the coach have to figure out how you break down, and then you train not to break down. You train to be more consistent when you feel uncomfortable, when the wind doesn't feel right, and then you practice all these different scenarios. You practice under stress, and when the swing goes, Tiger was famous for the go-to shot. He'd hit his low stinger. So you have a shot when you struggle that you go to. You plan to play bad. And then when you plan to play good, VJ used to say, hey, when you're playing good, you practice twice as hard. Okay? Because you want it to stay longer and you want it to get better.
Because you have to be on the same level all time.
Exactly. But but again, it comes back to your mentality. If your mental outlook is to not know versus I know, keep looking for I know. Why don't I know this? Why don't I know that? And then just like you did research to find out the topic that we chose tonight, you found all the greatest questions and scenarios. Ask the question AI, how can I stay more consistent on the golf course, and see what everybody says? Do the research.
That's right.
Yeah, do the research. Keep digging until you answer your question.
Yeah, but sometimes this question or I am a victim of this question sometimes.
Yes, and that would be a something that you are kind of as a high achiever or a perfectionist, and in your type of work, you are a perfectionist. If you make a mistake, it has big time consequences. So you've conditioned yourself not to make a mistake. But golf is 90% of mistakes. And if you can't accept the mistake, it's more about adapting. Your science is very specific and has language.
Mm-hmm.
A golf course, you're trying to hit a 1.68 inch golf ball off a 38 inch stick off a 4 foot club, off a face, 4 inch face to a hole that's 400 yards away, and you're trying to get there in 4 shots with the wind blowing 30 miles an hour left to right, raining, wind, whatever it may be, and then your partner's poking at you. You're gonna make some mistakes.
And maybe somebody from another tee going and you're seeing them. You're running
You need to
around you.
learn how to let go.
No,
Well,
this
and that's accept.
this is the best worst
exactly.
scenario.
And I would say accept. Now, what happens is, after watching you play, your technique is definitely improved. Now you need to answer the question, how can I make it more consistent? Why isn't it consistent? With you, it's the length of the swing gets too long. When it gets too long with a short club, there's too much speed. So now the ball's violent.
Yeah.
It's not a dart throw. It's a javelin throw on every shot.
And because I want to hear all the time wind.
Yeah. And you want to hear, look how long he hits it.
Yeah, that's right. Because I'm a long hitter and always see I always see the distance and
But
carry.
you may have the highest score, but you're gonna have the longest drive on one of
That's
the
right.
holes.
That's right. This is the most
The
important.
problem is you have the same speed on the driver as on the 60
Pitching
yard
wedge.
shot. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Now everybody will know. But we have to create the challenge for everybody. I think.
Yeah, for sure. Beat Łukasz at swing speed.
And choose some plastic club for kids.
Yeah.
And that maybe it would be the cool challenge.
Yeah.
Well, even with the app we've creating, because the data-driven application is now most popular, and maybe we should change. We should do the challenge with the plastic club and a launch monitor app. Who knows? But the last question should be okay. Then we're trying to beat our score because everybody wants to be the best as they can every time.
Hmm.
And this is, of course, a discussion about acceptation. And after, of course, it not happen mostly, right? And you are going out the golf course with a lot of frustration in your head. And in my mind, it always quit this sport.
Okay,
This
so
is totally crappy, right?
look again.
How am I to switch to another point?
That's a great question, and it has to do with. Let's take the mentality. You just told me about running a sprint.
Yeah.
Golf is a marathon, so it's not this 18-hole rounds. It's all my 18 rounds accumulated, and how do I keep lowering my average? It's funny. This game is the averages. If you're not really working on your game and you're just hitting balls and you're playing enough, you'll eventually get a little better. If you want to specifically target areas of your game, you'll get even better. But you use it, and this is where we are conditioned to play a video game. We're playing the video game, and crap, I get killed. Restart.
Yeah.
Restart. And then all of a sudden you get a long string again. You almost get there. Crap, restart. Well, golf is a game played on 300 acres. You can't restart. So now you have to condition yourself. It's not 18 holes. It's going to be a year of golf. And then you pinpoint what you're doing. And now every round that you're going out, you're trying to pick 3 or 4 things to keep improving on. So you might come in with a higher score, but you might have improved your drives. You might have improved your putts. You might have improved under pressure when they're poking at you.
But this is the mentality, as you
Yes.
say about this, right?
Yes.
But most of average players thinking about the handicap
And
going the rabbit and running the rabbit all the time.
Yeah, but
but you're using the handicap for the long term. Remember how a handicap is made. And I could be wrong on this, but during my PGA training, we looked at it as you take your last 10 scores, you drop the highest, the lowest, and you divide it by 90%. That's your handicap, and you put that in towards your index on the golf course. Your handicap is based on 10 rounds or 8 rounds, 9 or 8 rounds. You're doing the sprint. You're doing the 1 round. A tour player is going to be, he can't sprint for 5 weeks. They're going to, and Tiger said it best. He goes, I'm playing the first 3.5 rounds to put myself in position, and then I'm playing match play on the last 9 holes against the field, against the course. That's how he wins all his tournaments. So it's the marathon, not the race. I'm going to give myself 3 months to improve my putting, my chipping, my consistency. And then you measure each round, and then you're not measuring the score, you're measuring the components of the score. And then when all this, and I used to say it this way, the way to build confidence is, build self-confidence is you take 2 or 3 related goals. I want to improve my up and downs inside 20 yards, and I want to average it to get 4 feet inside the cup. And then I want to practice 100 4-footers a day, inside 4 feet a day, or inside 10 feet a day. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, your up and down goes from 30% to 60%, and you just cut 6 strokes on your thing. So now when you go out, you, without training a particular part of your game, you can't have any expectations. So you have to kill your expectations if you're not putting work into your game. When you put work into your game, then you're putting expectations on your practice, and you're putting expectations on your score in that area related to your practice on the scorecard at the end. Now that creates confidence and motivation.
And it's also, Tom, about learning how to score. I mean, we see a lot of, most of us go up to the men's tee all the time. Instead of maybe learning how to score, start practicing some rounds from the ladies' tee,
mm-hmm.
and have the opportunity to do a lot of more birdies and a lot of more chip pitch and
look, that's
shorter irons.
As you're getting better, making a birdie is you know, you always make the 10-foot par putt, but you never make the 3-foot birdie putt.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So again, that goes to, oh my God, this is for birdie. This is going to lower my score.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a 10-footer.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, or it's a 10-footer. Well,
attack a little.
I'm okay with making a par or bogey.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not okay with making a birdie yet.
No.
So great practice and I heard David Duval say it one time. During the practice rounds, I challenge I challenge the boundaries of the golf course, and I challenge my nerve against those boundaries. So by challenging every hole on its hardest line, hardest pin position, it makes the rest of the course look easy.
Yeah.
So he finds a way to learn the course. That was his way to learn the course
Yeah,
as
that's
fast as he
pretty
could.
much we walking up to the ladies' tee and play some rounds from there because it's going to be easy.
Great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, but I had only maybe one stupid question, but I know there is not stupid question.
And then I wonder why you even said that there's a stupid question.
But how the average player should set up himself during the practice session, and if he play on tournament, it should be the same thing, or because
No,
it is
practice
difference.
practice rounds are different. Practice rounds are is the rough going to be an issue? So is there more emphasis on driving? Are the greens heavily protected? Are the greens elevated? Are the greens undulated? Does the course have dry spots, firm spots, things like this? The practice round, you know, when you're a first-time professional and you're in college also, and you're playing the same courses during qualifying, and you're a tour player, your first year you don't get to play those courses, but your first year out there, you have caddies who know the golf courses, so they're targeting the landing areas. But then you have conditions. Well, like at Mayakoba, I was at the Mayakoba tournament in Mexico a couple years ago, and it's off Pass Pelham, which is a salt grass. I'm watching these very high-level tour players that are top 50 in the world chunk their chips because the grass is very difficult to chip off of.
Yeah.
So it might be the emphasis is don't miss the green there. And if it is, come up with a way to chip that you don't stick the wedge in the ground. It gets very windy there, and it's a wind ball is a little bit more abbreviated swing and chase it. How do you take spin off the ball? You use the golf course to figure out the conditions as fast as you can to learn the golf course. If you've never played the golf course, to make it feel like your home course within 1 to 2 rounds. So your mentality on that round is not about, am I scoring well today? Is how fast can I learn this course? Because I already know how to score. I already know how to play.
All right, that was cool. But sometimes you think the practice rounds should be based on data or not? Data, I mean numbers of shots.
The practice round is you might be checking the work that you did at home, but you have to realize, let's say you're working on pitching distances.
Yeah.
I could go from 1 week where the ball stops and releases 3 feet, and then I can hit the same pitch at the next tournament and the ball releases 12 feet. So my mentality of playing is going to completely change on how I play that golf course and how far the ball releases. I'm going from a mentality that I'm going to land the ball in the front of the green no matter where the pin is at, or I can fly it on the pin, stop it, or the ball's spinning back. I can practice hitting behind the pin and bringing the ball back. And how well you know the slopes and the yardage books and everything are so good, these guys have to pinpoint area. They're not always they're never flying to the pin. They're picking areas where the ball works and feeds to the pin. And they're playing away from the areas that could cost them strokes if they're what they call a short side. If they short side themselves on a very undulated green, or they hit it off on the wrong side of the green where the pin is very close to a very steep hill or an edge. Mm-hmm. So their job is to give themselves the highest percentage chance of putting themselves in position to make birdies. Mm-hmm. And or par is sometimes a better score because we look at, they have stats on what the average score is on each hole. So sometimes a par is like making a birdie on some holes. Sometimes a bogey is a par on that hole. And then sometimes 90% of the field is birdieing that hole, and you don't birdie that hole and you lose a stroke to the field.
Yeah, that's cool. And of course, we almost disappearing here in our talk. Yeah, that was the anatomy of the blow-up hole.
Yep.
With the new friend or the old friend.
Yep.
Thomas Burnett and my friend Patric Hornstern. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you next
Thank
time.
You.